Hey guys, welcome to Programming Knowledge. In this video, we'll solve the diamond problem which we discussed in the previous video. So if you remember that, I had referred you this particular website where the diamond problem is beautifully illustrated. So the diamond problem is you have a base class or a parent class from which multiple classes are getting inherited, and then you have another child class which are using the inherited classes as the parent classes. So let's quickly create a program version of this. So let's say class A, and we'll again keep this simple. So we'll just say we'll just have a constructor and destructor as we had in the previous example. So you have constructing A, and you have a destructor which says destructing A, and we need to create another class B. So create that, and we need to change the A to B. So the A is going to change into B. So replace and we again paste that, change the occurrences of A into C now. So replace A with C. So done, and again create another class which is going to be D, right? So because we need 4 classes, right? Let me just quickly show you that picture. So this class is being referred to as A. You have B and C, 2 more classes which are going to be inheriting from A, and then you have another class called C which will inherit from both B and C. Sorry, this class will be called D, which is going to inherit from both B and C. Alright, so this is going to be D, so replace that with D, and done. So now let's make the inheritances quickly. So class B, as I told you, is going to inherit from A. Class C is also going to inherit from A. If you remember, this inheritance is nothing but hierarchical inheritance, and now we are going to inherit from both B and C, which is nothing but multiple inheritance. So public B and public C, right? And now we'll create an object of D, and we'll see what exactly the problem is. So D, say obj, and now if you compile this, what do you have? Okay, I again forgot to put those new lines, keep forgetting that. So /n over here and over here. Well, now if we run this particular program, what do you have? You have constructing A, constructing B, constructing A, constructing C, and then constructing D. And that makes sense, right? Because we are first inheriting from B, and B is in turn inheriting from A. So first B is going to be created, which basically means that A is first going to be created, then B, and that is going to get inherited into D. Then you have C, which again inherits from A. So first A is created, and then C is created, and then you have created the D, right? Now the problem is, if I try to touch A, from which path should I go? So I mean, we'll just quickly draw that. So go to the paint here, and we have A. You have 2 classes, B and C, like this. And then you have combination of these 2 classes, which is basically the class D. So this is D. Now if I create D in this path, or in this path, if I start creating that, I'm again going to create A indefinitely, right? So as you saw in that output, we had created A 2 times. So here you can see constructing A once and constructing A the second time. So we need to avoid that by, because say I want to access some properties of A, right? And B must have modified the properties of A. We don't know, right? So suppose there's something called X here, some variable, and B, what it did is it made X to 20 and C made X to 30. Just take this as an example. Now at this level it's okay, just forget about the D for a moment. For this level it's okay, they're two separate children and they're doing whatever they want with the inherited properties. Now the problem comes when D has to access X. Should it follow this point which is X equal to 20, or should it follow this path which says X equal to 30? What it should do? So to demonstrate that, let's just create a kind of public variable, just name it X, so int X, right, for now. And here well, we don't have to do anything. We can just try to do something like, since it's just public and we are just doing public inheritance, we could do something like obj.x equal to 10. I could do that, right? This is perfectly normal. Now if I try to run this, I get an error. What does it say? It says request for member X is ambiguous. Why is it ambiguous? That's the same thing I just told. It's ambiguous because it doesn't know what to do. So even if I try to change it over here, or as I explained it in the picture, if I try to change it in one of the inherited classes, if I just change it in one of the inherited classes, so if I just keep it X equal to 30 here and just leave it, then also it's going to be a problem because it doesn't know whether to keep it the same or to change it, right? So this is the main problem, which is called the diamond problem. The thing is, it doesn't know which path to take. Should it change X through B, or should it change X through C, or basically should it change the X over here or not? Should two copies be created of X, which will lead to ambiguity? And well, if you don't create X at all, then there is no ambiguity, right? But again, why are you inheriting? You are inheriting something because you want those properties inside the child, right? If the parent doesn't have anything useful for the child to inherit, there's no point in inheritance at all, right? So this problem has to be solved. And how do you solve that? You solve that using something called virtual inheritance. So what does that do? Well, if you see here, what we are doing, we are just creating two copies of A, right? So what virtual inheritance does is, while inheriting into these two classes, I know that these two classes are going to be a parent of some other class. So now my solution to this is, I'll keep this virtual. That is, even if I create multiple copies, they will be pointing to the same object or the same instance which has been created in the memory. So while creating a memory map for D, say I first create A through B. So A has been created once, right? Now if I create it through C, since I already have A will not be created. That is what is the advantage of having virtual inheritances. So to do that, what we do here is, instead of directly inheriting A, we just do something like virtual public A, and we'll talk more about this virtual keyword, right? For now, just keep it like this. So you have virtual public A, which is basically a virtual inheritance, and then you have virtual public A over here. Now, as I told you, A will not be recreated again and again. So if you have 10 classes like this, if you just stop at those classes, if I just access B and C, there's no problem. The problem arises only when I want to go up a level, right? So I want to directly access the X of A. If I had some X of B over here, and if I try to access that, I won't be having a problem because B is a direct parent, or C is also a direct parent of D. But A is basically one level higher, right? So that is where the problem arises, and this is how you solve the problem. You just virtually inherit those classes. So now if I now run this, you wouldn't be getting an error, and it does run successfully. And here you see A has been created, then B, then without creation of A it has directly created C. Why is that? That's because while creating C it already saw that there exists a copy of A. That is why it is not creating A again. If it changes order, first the A class for C will be created and then B will be created without A. Now if I change this, now if I run this, you can see here AC, and this A is because of this inheritance, and since it's virtual it knows that there should exist only one copy of this particular instance. That is why while creating B it will see this statement and then look up that memory map and then find out that A has already been inherited, so it won't inherit A again, and this operation is totally valid. So that's how you solve the diamond problem. And about this virtual classes, this virtual keyword, what it does is it will take care of the fact that there exists only one particular copy. That is what virtual means. So for something called abstract classes, which we are going to discuss in the next video, the abstract classes are basically a kind of base for creating newer classes. Now the abstract classes need not be kind of virtual, right? So see, virtual methods or virtual inheritances, these are useful only when you need a single kind of copy of the property. So say I have a constructor A over here, and if I override this constructor over here, just saying, so instead of B, if I just say A, this is also particularly valid, right? So I'm just rewriting that function over here. Now I can access this A through a method which we'll discuss afterwards, right? So we can access the methods of the parent class, or methods or variables or anything of the parent class through a method. We do have a possibility for that. Now the point of virtual keyword is you shouldn't have multiple copies. So basically this is creating multiple copies. So through B, if I'm accessing A, it should be printing constructing B, but through A, if accessing this particular constructor, it should say constructing A. So basically there are two copies of the same function. This is called overloading, and we'll talk about this in the next video also, right? So for this particular issue, virtual keyword is there, which basically means that you can have only one particular copy. You cannot have overloading and all. And so in abstract classes, what you have is, if you need only one feature, one copy of that particular feature, you will make it virtual, so that in the inherited class where you have that virtual function inherited, you need to define that function indefinitely inside that class. So in virtual classes, what you do is you just create a virtual method and then leave that. You don't define that virtual method. So in the inherited class, what you do is you inherit that method and then you need to define that method indefinitely. If you don't define it, you will get an error. Alright, so that solves a problem of maintaining multiple properties, and we generally don't actually want multiple properties of the same thing unless in really rare cases, right? So in rare cases, are you going to access the properties of A and B through D? So it's very rare that you're going to access this, but in case you want to access it, this is the solution. You need to make it virtual, right? So that's about the diamond problem. In the next video, we'll discuss about overloading and somewhat abstraction, right? So till then, happy coding.